physical goal, I'm gonna run a mile without stopping.
For my social goal, I'm gonna write a letter for my sister on the mission.
We get to talk about the priesthood this week, specifically the Aaronic priesthood in Upon You, My Fellow Servants, which is this week's lesson. We get to talk about the priesthood being God's power. Now, my kids love to use the word power when we read the scriptures. We have lots of different signs that we use. When we were reading the Book of Mormon, every time we heard the word judge, my kids would do this: judge, 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 judge. And we have lots of those. One of them is power. And every time we hear the word power, we have to show our muscles. So you could do that, reading these verses, talking about priesthood power. And every time you hear the word power, then a child has to pose with their muscles. You could do that lots and lots of times over and over again in different poses as they show you how strong they are and talk about the power that comes from God through the Aaronic priesthood. Another way to talk about this is talking about power tools. So you could bring in some kind of a drill or some kind of a power tool that you might have out in the shop or the garage and talk about how power comes from God. Now, a power tool is amazing and can do incredible things, but unless it has a battery attached or it's plugged into the wall, it's not going to do any good. That battery pack, or being plugged into the wall, is like being connected to Heavenly Father. An Aaronic priesthood holder, or a Melchizedek priesthood holder for that matter, can't use any power. It's not actually their power. They can't do any good unless they are plugged into the wall, unless they are using Heavenly Father's power. That's how the priesthood works. This section also talks a lot about keys. So you can pull out your keys and talk about the different things that you can open in your house. You may have a door in your house that actually uses keys, or a treasure chest that you have some keys for. You might just open your front door with keys, or your mailbox, or your car. There should be a place that you can find to use keys, and maybe give everyone a chance to use that key and to think about how that works to open a door. You can even give a child an opportunity to hand them a car key or a toy key if you don't have anything in the house or available for them to actually open with a key. You can do something as simple as a pillow. Maybe you have a picture behind it of one of the episodes in this section that we talk about of receiving the Aaronic priesthood or baptism. You have a picture behind the pillow and they pretend to open it with their key, and then it shows your picture behind it. This is also an excellent opportunity to think about your baptism. If you have already been baptized, think about that day. Think about the people that were there and the way that you felt, and maybe look at some pictures or listen to the songs that you heard, or go read some letters that people wrote you on that day. If you haven't been baptized yet, this is an opportunity to dream about it. Maybe you can practice being baptized. A priesthood holder can show you what that feels like to be baptized, and you can practice it. Or you can talk about maybe who will come to your baptism or what it might feel like. A lot of primary kids that I talk to before their baptism are most curious to know what the water feels like. And I can tell you that if you get baptized in the font at the church, it will be warm. It will feel kind of like a bathtub, so you can imagine that. Or you can imagine the way that some of the pioneers a little bit later are going to be baptized in very, very cold rivers. And you can think about what that would be like and discuss as a family what those memories are like for your family members who have been baptized.